So, today what we're doing, we're going to be doing a chip repair. I'm going to show you how to do a successful chip repair on the big screen here. Okay? So, with that there, there's a bunch of steps and procedures that we need to follow to ensure that it is done correctly. First things first, for that there, we want to check any chip repair that comes, we want to check make sure that it is repaired. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you this here, give you this paperwork here. I want you to read through it as I go along, and it's really going to explain, hopefully, you understand the process step by step. Okay? So, any repair we do, repairs are not cosmetics, we use to see after, and our structural repairs. The purpose of them are to return structure to the windscreen and make it obviously safe for the driver themselves. Okay? So, what we're going to do is, we'll go get you to start reading out the steps, and we'll go along together and go through each step of the process. Awesome. So, what is the first one we're going to do? Perfect. So what we're going to do is, we're going to check the impact to see if it's repaired. So, when you're with the customers, what you want to do is, you want to bring this chart out with them, right? So the biggest thing is going through making sure that it is repairable. So this is a guide to help you. Here it explains what different chips are and the sizes that can be repaired. And down the bottom here is the size templates you can use to make sure that it is repairable. Okay? So what you want to do is replace this chip. Just to see the size. It's 20 mil, and obviously being outside the division, star chip now is what we've got. Outside the division, it's 25 mils. It is a 20 mil one, so easily repairable range. Okay? Yep. Yep.
What's the critical vision area?
Good question. Critical vision area is what the vision right in front of the driver. So any chip inside the driver's vision is the smaller size of the repair. You can't do bigger sizes. Being that is in their face, it can be distracting for them. So that's why we have that critical vision area. It's a very, very important area. Good question. Awesome. So, next step after you've done that there, what do we need to do?
Apply vehicle personal safety.
Vehicle first safety protection. Awesome. So, vehicle protection we've got right now is just bottle protector. We're taking a shower there. It just stops any resin going onto the paint of the car and damaging any of the trims or wipers here and there. So, we do that there to protect safety. And ourselves, we'll make sure I've got glasses on and some Nike gloves. What I'll do is I'll get you to put these gloves on there. So, we'll grab some there. Yourselves, yep. Nice. Oh. That's alright. Perfect. So, apply these to ourselves. Yeah, very important with the protection, especially when doing repair, okay? Because we're dealing with very strong chemicals here. We want to make sure our hands are protected so we don't touch any chemicals and don't get any burns on our hands. And also make sure we have eye protection just so that they can fit into our eyes. So again, burns and it's not ideal. So we want to be fully protected and fully prepared for us, okay? That's very, very important. Right, next step now.
Glass temperature is between 0 and
Awesome. So, here's the thermometer. Yeah. This here would allow us to check the temperature of the windscreen and make sure it is in the range you need. Awesome. Right now it says 18 degrees. Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. So, that is in repairable range. That can be done right now and no anything needs to be done. In there can be so, with that there, what's the next step after you check out temperature?
Attach inspection mirror.
Awesome. So, this here is an inspection mirror. Yep. This here allows you to be able to see what work's being done on the windscreen. When you especially have your art head on here, it's going to block a lot of the view. And what it does, put your hand over here and you will look at that there, it's covered with the chip they're covered. We're going to have a look and you see anything right now. If I put my hand over like there, try and cover it like that. You can't see it, right? So with this here, apply this on the inside of the windscreen. Like that. I was going to cover that same area again. Can you see it? Yeah? See from the side, you can then see that there. So what it does is it really allows you to be able to see that chip and see it getting repaired through the process, so you're not obviously doing it blind. Okay? Perfect. So, next step.
open impact with handhead or impact and
Perfect. So, here's what we use here. It's an impactor. What it does is it de-stress the chip and really opens up, allows the resin to go in there. So it's very important. Why we do this, so it doesn't crack out the chip and it opens up, allows the resin to get into it. If you don't do it, again, pressure on the glass and gets spit off the chip. So de-stressing is a very important part of the process. So, you can see here, put it right in the middle there. Yep. Press on it. Yep. See that there? Just the impact there. You want to see the movement of the chip there. So I'll get you to have a shot there yourself. So I want to do that there, right in the middle of the chip, and I want you to. Perfect. Good job. And yourself. Just want you to feel what it feels like when you impact the chip there.
Is there a certain number of times you do it, or is it just...
So really when you impact the chip there, you want to do it so that you see the actual chip move, the deep stretch central, you'll see the legs in the actual chip itself move a little bit there. That's a very important part. That's what you want to look for. So it can depend. It can be 1, 2, 3. Many times the legs are actually open that chip up there and the deep stretch. So, okay? Perfect. So next one I'm going to do here is the brush. Yep. See that? This here cleans out any dust debris from the actual impact of the chip there and it brushes it away. So what we're going to do is place it on like that. Slowly rotate, you're pushing the glass downward. You push it up, it goes bounces up and it goes straight back into what you just cleaned. So by brushing downward, by gravity and motion, it pushes it all, pushes it over down. So you go like this. Yep. Really brush it down. Give it a good brush till you see no more glass over it. Let you go feel that there. See what it feels like there with the brush. So you hand on and rotation. That's it, yep, down rotation. Perfect. Good job. Yourself. Awesome. Good job. Nice well done. As you can see, it clears that glass away from that chip. Impact there really clears it away so no glass gets into the actual chip and blocks up the hole there. Perfect. Awesome. Now, any questions so far on the first little bit? No? Good so far? Awesome. Next step.
Use hydrophobic pad in glass.
Perfect. So, this is a hydrophobic pad. Yep. What this does here, removes any contamination from the windscreen there, so that the pixel can actually stick on the glass, which is later on onto the repair process, which I will explain when it comes to that point. This here just cleans any contamination away. So you place on the glass, and you do it so you don't lose it. Again, another very important step is why we do it, so we know that we'd actually be done when a few words and we have to actually stick to the glass correctly.
And how do you know if it's clean?
Basically, as you see we're rubbing it here now, you can see the areas coming clean, that a lot of debris cleaning away from the glass there. It's a nice and smooth and shiny area after cleaning it. You see what the ground of glass.
Yeah.
You actually have a shot out there, so clean the area there. See what it feels like. You can feel the way it is in the rotation. You feel that? So it's opening pretty much. Nice and easy. It's going to feel nice smooth and it's running over there. You're going to clean it nice and smooth. Yeah, do that, yeah. Perfect. Nice. Alrighty, now what is the next step? That's the primer capsule. So, primer capsule. This little silver bag here. And this is what it looks like here. So inside these capsules here, I'm going to top off for you so I can show you inside. Little glasses as well, see right there. Now in here has got the primer resin inside it, right? So when you do this, you crack it once and the resin then leaks out and goes onto the chip there. Do not press it more than once because there's glass shard in there and it can pierce the plastic and stab you in the finger. So it's very important. One crack over the chip there and let the primer run into it basically. Yeah. So only one crack to the here. Out there, pinch it, okay. Just go over to all the resin. Primer leaks out of it. Cool. Yep, that's it. You can see the glass shard inside there, see that? Okay. You don't want to press it more. If you press it again there, you can chance it will be very important. Alright, now we've done that there, what is our next step?
Evacuate break with vacuum.
Awesome. So here, we go back in this, and we've got our hose here, alright? This locks in there, as you can see. Yep. Locks in that, we then turn the machine on. Pump starts. Just over the chip there, yeah? So what it's doing now is it's sucking out any of the primer left over or any gases in the chip there. It's really suctioning them out there, and that's a very important step of it, because obviously when the resin goes into it, it makes it stay soft and doesn't actually do it properly. So make sure we get all that out of there. So you let that go on there for a few seconds, until the beep happens. When the beep happens, it can be removed. Yeah, any questions about that? Oh, there we go. Perfect. Perfect timing. There's the beep there. So what we do is we turn the machine off. Disconnect the hose. And then bring it up. Yep. Perfect. Awesome. So now what is the next step? Alright, okay, yeah. So what we're going to do is get a piece of paper down. Give that a clean underneath. You want to give that clean first there, yeah. See that there. And you want to grab our V-seal. Place that on. Stretch it over the top there. Just like that. That makes it look nicely. Give it a good wipe.
Is there any reason why we don't use that one?
So removing the V-seal is when you place it in here in the storage, the chemicals can actually damage your V-seal and that can rub on there, and also with the pressure sitting on it there, it can make it fall down, seal around things, not part head there. Very important why to remove them. So we'll explain that after when we go through. We'll remove the V-seal off the start head. So go out there. Yep. What we do is get ourselves a capsule. It's in the bag here. Yep. Perfect. Put that there, onto the shoulder. Yep. Grab our hose, plug it in. Yep. And we turn the pump on. Yep, get the pump running. Go like that. Pop it onto the shoulder. Yep. Once that's done, we grab it. You can see that there, come around. See that there. Placing it over the actual impact point. Release the valve. Yep. So what we're doing now, like for the first beep, when that happens there, we inject the resin into it. So any questions about that? Anything you're not sure about? No? Perfect. Awesome. So what we're doing now, hear the beeping. Get the capsule. Twist it to the right into the shoulder there, so it doesn't pop out basically. So we're going to lock that in there. And what does when the repair process happens, doesn't pop it out there basically. Cool. So now we've got that here now the actual chip is repairing. So what we're doing now is actually putting the resin into it. And then after the time has happened, the machine will beep for a second time again, it'll beep, and then that'll be the end of the process. Okay, awesome. As you can see, when I'm looking here to repair the chip filling. Let's see how it's working. Slowly you're filling in the legs of the unit. Cool. Awesome. Now, any questions about that there? Questions about how? Good question. So what we're looking for there, as you can see how before the chip was very shiny, the legs are very thick. You can see the actual cracks in the glass there. What you're looking for is them to almost disappear, but sort of not. You will still see them, remember? So you just see the legs getting very thin. You see the resin going in it, and you see a very thin line. What you shouldn't see is when you're looking from different angles, you shouldn't see the legs still shine. If you look from multiple angles, you still see that leg being visible. It means that they actually been on the footing correctly on the chip or any other chips on the field. If you see a black spot, you need dirt or air in there. So it's, yeah, you want to look for those little things like that there. So it looks, see that there really standing out, then what's the sign or something? Yep. Good. Anything else?
How does it actually get resin in there?
Yeah, good question. So what it is, it's a vacuum compressor that's suctioning on the glass, ahead onto the glass. And what it does is, as you can see, if you look quickly, see the two holes in the outside there. What it does is that builds pressure in the glass, right? As it builds pressure in there, it sucks into the glass. When the machine changes the filling process, it then injects the resin. So by vacuum pressure, it then allows that resin to force its way into the actual chip. After a few seconds, it then releases back the outside, just keeps it so it suctions on, and then fills back in. It's almost like a push and pull effect. Basically. Yeah. Cool. Anything else? Yep, so if temperature gets too high then what can happen is the chip can actually crack. So if it starts getting too high or if it's hot and you start repairing it while the chip's way too hot, what can happen is the chip can actually crack. And especially because it's got a laminated inside it first, so it makes it quite easy. So the machine's beeping the second time there, so let's have a look and check that out, make sure it is. Yep, can you see that there? Yep, looks good. Awesome. So what's the next step on the process there? So,
Apply pit fill just above inside.
awesome. So what we're going to do is now, and apply Mylar. light up. Perfect. So, switch the machine off. Disconnect the hose. Alright, place that down. And then we put that there. Put that on top, yep. Place that here just for now, okay? Just let the paper towel so it doesn't drip anywhere on the paint or anything, right? Now, pit film. And the mylar. Take the little patch off. Kick the corner, easy to remove. Place it right there so you drip like that and you place the patch on. Yep, you see that there?
So why do you need the patch?
So what the patch is there, just make sure that the no air bubbles in the actual impact of the tip there. It seals it, it makes a nice flat layer there, and then it cures it evenly. Once you move it there, so it's a nice flat surface basically, so not big lumps as well. So yes, it makes a nice flat clean surface. Yep. Okay. Perfect, awesome. So now we've got the pit seal and the patch on, what are we doing next? Cure repair. So we're going to do this using an LED light here. We're going to cure that there. So place on the side like that. Pop them right there. Press the button. And then there. So it's done now. As you can see, now the UV light now is shining on that there, and it's curing the resin. Right. So we're only on for 30 seconds there, and then you turn, take it off, and then it's up. Yep. Any questions about this? Yeah? I'm not sure about.
So how does it stick to the glass?
The actual pit fill and the patch.
The resin.
Resin. So what it does is when the patch goes on there, the UV light cures it. So basically what happens is the resin basically dries up and attaches to the glass. I remember before we used the mylar patch, not mylar patch, sorry, the post-stroke pad, cleaning the glass there and remove the contamination, that allows that to stick.
Oh, okay.
Remember that there from the start, yeah? Yeah. That's what it does there, yeah? Perfect. Alright, keep off in there. Cool, perfect. That's it there. Take the light off. Place that down the side there. So, now next step, what does it say there?
Finish using glass cleaner, a new safe razor, polish, and liquid pad.
Awesome. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to remove that. Yep. Place that down. We'll need that there in a second then. All I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this over here. Spray over the actual repair we've done and just go backwards and forwards. See what it's doing there? And we're really removing all of that resin that's on the glass now. What we want is a nice flat surface. Leaving that on there, we can watch the big massive distortion on the glass. We want to get rid of all that there. Removing it all, a bit. Really scrubbing it. Yep, get it to a thumb size, yeah? See that? It's about the size of your thumbprint. What we're going to do is grab this here, top on, place one, and just cover the rest of it off.
What happens if you don't do that?
If you don't do that, you won't get a nice clean surface. You get a very fatty surface on the tip there, and it'll stick in the glass. So what it does is give it a nice smooth surface, and scraping it all off and leaving it and scratching the actual put none of that there. Cool. Put that away. Yep. And then we use that same patch. Remember the patch I used to keep? It helps give up all the different pieces. Awesome. So do that there. Now next step. So what we're going to do is now, we're going to give that a clean. So we'll just remove this off the windscreen now. We don't need that anymore. Mirror off the inside, yep, it's now no longer needed. So, grab a paper towel. Alright. Give it a spray. You want to try and remove all the contamination of the windscreen or any of the dirt that's on there now. Of course, give a nice clean to the customer. Right there. Give it a good wipe like that.
So usually you don't just clean the spot we were working on.
Just as if you, obviously, first of all, is you just clean the spot there, the rest of the window will be really dirty. You can still see the area around the window that's dirty, so by doing this, I'll come around the other side there and just good, clean, good wipe.
We need to make sure we get all the bugs and everything off, or we just want
If you can, yes, definitely get them off there. You want to try and get it nice, just get the good clean on there. If there is some that are really stuck on there and you can't get them off there, definitely got, or you can't get everything off there. Perfect. Spray it inside up there, and just give it a clean on the inside. Just clean the sucker mark that we had before. Just jump in here, give it a clean. Perfect. And have a look at that there, and have a look at the repair there. See what you think. Exactly. Perfect. Sometimes you get lucky and they can come up there and you can look really well, and that's why we just go to the classification. Don't say we can. It doesn't, but sometimes you can do them and they look really well. Awesome. That's it there. That's the process for the repair. Any questions on that? Yep. Nothing else, nothing else to talk about, nothing about the repair process. Pretty comfortable. Yep.
Why don't you use pit fill?
Pit fill? Yeah, the pit fill is a bit of a, kind of like a, easy way to term is, it's a bit of a thicker resin basically. So what it does, it allows that smooth mask finish.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's all right.
Perfect. All good? Hold on. Awesome. So that's it there. That's how you do a perfect repair. Thank you. Easy.